Good evening, friends. I welcome all the participants to this very informal but very interesting occasion of meeting all the experts. You can see the experts on the screen. We have an eminent panel. We have Mr. A.T. Samuel, we have G.H. Basuraj, we have N.N. Nagendra Kumar, we have Umesh B. Rao, we have Dr. N. Ram Prakash, we have Dr. R. Jagadish, Engineer B.S.C. Rao, and always smiling A.N. Prakash sir. So a very tough panel we have. We don't know how the session will go. I hope all of them will make it very lively, maybe technical, and also some of the non-technical issues which are bothering the consultants may be taken up today for the discussion. All the experts have a wide and vast experience in their own field. Most of them are consultants, and some are both consultants as well as academicians, and some of them are into teaching. Even though they are consultants, now they are into the teaching area, also exploring that training and skilling the construction industry. I'm very happy and excited to host this session from the Association of Consulting Civil Engineers India in association with ICI, Indian Concrete Institute, Instruct, exclusive organization which has been formed to skill the construction workforce. And of course, I am from Bangalore Institute of Technology, so BIP is also associating with this program. To begin with, maybe I will introduce briefly all these experts. All of you know that they're all very popular. Just for the benefit, I will just take some highlights of these people, and then we can move on. To start off,
Chetan?
so I request all of them, all the participants, to mute yourself. Okay, they that I have today. To begin with, I would like to mention here that our own colleague, Engineer Mallikarjun Huggi, Chairman ACCI Bidar Center, recently passed away. I request all the participants to pray for his soul to rest in peace. And it is very unfortunate that he was undergoing treatment for COVID-19 at Hyderabad. He was diagnosed little late. He was not taken care in the initial stages. He noticed a little later. Because of that, it could not be under control. So at this point of time, I request all our construction industry professionals, please get diagnosed early as soon as you get the symptoms to avoid any problems later. So we all pray and God to give strength to his family for to bear the loss, and also we'll pray that as the soul rests in peace. With this, we'll move on. We have a brief introduction. I will not explain in detail. We have Professor R. Jagadish, a very popular academician. When we talk about UVCE, civil department, everybody knows Professor R. Jagadish. He is also very popular in the construction industry. He was the past president for two very popular associations or institutes, Association of Consulting Civil Engineers India and the Indian Concrete Institute. He added both the organizations and contributed quite a lot to the construction profession, and he is also a practicing consultant. Right now, he is involved more with rehabilitation works, and he is also involved in rehabilitating his own organization, UVCE, and making all efforts to bring it to the glory back. He was also involved in the task force of the government of Karnataka and done a lot of work in restoring the structures and maintaining the quality of the buildings in the government sector. And we have Dr. N. Ram Prakash. He is a very acclaimed consultant, PhD from Indian Institute of Science, and is very popular in training the professionals and also organizations, and he is also the founder member of Association of Consulting Civil Engineers and also past president. He is also founder for Instruct, and is also involved in various other professional bodies. He is also the recipient of Outstanding Concrete Engineer from Indian Concrete Institute. I welcome Dr. Ron Prakash and Professor Jagdish for this interaction. Then we have A.T. Samuel. He is also a very strict consultant. He is very reserved most of the times, and very difficult to talk to him. I don't know. I feel sometimes like that. I don't know how he approaches or the students approach the same. That is the first impression that we get. But if you look at his interactions, he is very close to the academia. He is involved in most of the institutions. He goes freely to all the engineering colleges and interacts with the students. And he is an expert in constructing flyovers and bridges. That is what the newspapers and industry says. Whenever we talk about Bangalore, at least Bangalore flyovers, as a consultant for most of the flyovers and bridges built by Bangalore Development Authority and BBMP. He is also the recipient of Outstanding Concrete Engineer. He is a silent person. He don't talk much, but he is always there whenever the academy looks at him. He will cooperate, and he is also actively involved in Instruct as well as in ICM. Then we have Professor J.H. Basuraju. I call him professor because he is into training and teaching all the academicians and the students in his latest inventions, ECBC DC technology, which he has patented, and presently leads a team of engineers and detailers offering total engineering design consultancy services. He has successfully completed about 1,000 different types of projects. He is also recipient of the Outstanding Concrete Engineer from Indian Concrete Institute. I will not take much. We have Nagendra Kumar, a very silent consultant. He also don't indulge himself in unnecessary talks. Very silent worker. He is also the MTech structures from Indian Institute of Technology, Bombay. He is also from a small place, Gauri Budinuru. He got his Bachelor of Engineering in Civil Engineering, 68, completed. I don't know, somehow when I was searching, the public utility building was also there. When some problem was there with the stability or issues like that, I think he was consulted and he gave a lot of ideas and I don't know what is the connection between Nagendra Kumar and Satya Nadella. I think Nagendra Kumar likes Satya Nadella and get inspired by his innovative thinking. And I think Nagendra Kumar is also very innovative in his design and the construction industry. He is one of the key persons in Sterling Engineering Consultancy Services Private Limited. I welcome Nagendra Kumar also for this interaction. Then we have another very interesting personality, the founder member of ICC and also Instruct, engineer Umesh B. Rao. He was also a very strict consultant. His office was there in Tiffany's. You are afraid to get into his office at that time. And he is a very approachable person when it comes to professional bodies. When you come to ACC or ICI or Instruct, it is easy to talk to him. He gets involved and engaged completely in various aspects of design. He is also a good sports person and likes theater, and maybe he will share his experiences in all his personality later. It is not just engineering. Engineering is one of our major job, but unless we explore the other facets of our life, it is very difficult to enjoy our life. Maybe we'll have more interactions with Umesh B. Rao later. I request all the participants to just explore the other side of all these consultants and how they are happy and successful in the construction industry. Maybe you can raise your questions and queries in the chat box regarding that, and maybe we'll talk to them in detail. Then we have the always smiling person. I said he is very popular, and he has got many YouTube videos running, and he is bringing humor into construction industry, and always he says you, without humor there is no life. So maybe something like that. I've given some YouTube links also here. Maybe participants can explore it later. And one of the accomplished project management consultant with us. Let us see how he entertains all of us today. Then we have a very strict person, engineer BSC Rao, is said that in the industry considers him as the urban transportation, mass rapid transit system, smart cities, and forensic civil engineering. He is an expert in that area. He is also from IIT Madras and president of ACC. In ACC, he is very popularly known for Redecon and forensic civil engineering. He flagship events which ACC is run very successfully in these years. He was also the former Bangalore rapid transit system. Let us see he goes light to the field and ask questions from the participants. With this brief introduction, we'll go back and see how we can take these people. To start off, I will go to N. Prakash, sir. You can unmute, sir. N. Prakash. I will ask a question to start. How to ensure or avoid fluorescence is one technical question. Then other thing is how to bring humor into life, how to enjoy life while we are doing our profession. Over to you, sir. N. Prakash, sir. N. Prakash, sir. Hello. Okay. I think N. Prakash, sir. Okay, I think I will move on. We'll move on to BSc Rao, sir. Sir, you are known to be a very strict master in the construction industry, both when you are in the office and also as a consultant. Can I ask you one simple question, or I don't know if it's simple or not? The effects of COVID-19 on the execution of metro projects in India, because metro is a very essential thing in most of the cities, and lot of works were going on in metro in various cities. But because of this COVID-19, how it affected the progress of this metro in various cities, at least in general in India? What is your take on this? Whether COVID-19 affected this, will continue to affect, or it will come back, the progress will come back?
Good evening, Dr. Aswath. Thank you very much for your introduction. And I don't know where you got the idea that I'm a very strict person. Maybe I look very strict, but I'm not.
Okay.
Okay.
Very good.
As far as the question you asked me regarding the effects of COVID-19, can you hear me?
Yeah, yes, sir. Please go ahead.
As far as the effects of COVID-19 on the metro industry is concerned, it has been pretty devastating. And in fact, almost all the metros in the country today are suffering severe delays, some of them going into as much as 6-8 months. In fact, Bombay has been delayed very greatly. Bangalore has been delayed very greatly. Delhi is also running way behind schedule. And initially, they have thought it will be around 3 to 4 months, but now the COVID situation continuing as it is, it's probably going to become longer. One of the biggest problems, of course, has been the migration of workers, which has very badly hit the construction of all these metros. The other part of it, of course, is that, because of the lockdowns and all that, the number of people traveling on, I mean, you had, for example, in Bangalore, you had total lockdown where even metros were completely shut off. So I read that Bangalore Metro has been losing something like 25 crores a month, and the fixed costs continue to remain, and the revenues, which is basically fare revenue from the tickets, has sharply dropped. As a result of which, almost all the metros are now running into some kind of an operational loss because the revenue that they get from fare is not enough to cover their operational needs and the fixed costs of like salaries and things like that. So this is one of the very, very major problems. Now, also because of the delays, the costs are escalating. And a very big problem that has arisen now is the fact that quite a lot of the metro equipment that is being used is imported from China. In fact, China is one of the biggest exporters of metro equipment and metro, what do you call, trains, even rolling stock to the to India. And because of the shutdown on or lockdown on Chinese imports, it's going to be very seriously affected. In fact, Europe also has been a great supplier for components to our metro systems, and Europe is under lockdown. So what is happening is supplies of equipment, supply electrical equipment, the rails, rolling stock, everything is getting very, very badly affected. Addition to this is the fact that the economy as a whole has taken a big hit, as a result of which the national revenues that we get to the GDP or to the exchequer has also dropped. In fact, GST collections have dropped, everything has dropped. And as a result of which, the government of India has delayed or reduced the amount of money that is being sent to the metros. So, all in all, what is happening is that the metro, I mean, the COVID-19 has had a, I mean, devastating effect on not only metro systems, but also, I suppose, on the entire infrastructure industry and, of course, all businesses and so on. So, how it's going to pan out, God only knows. They are saying that COVID is likely to, 19 is likely to peak sometime in November this year. So at least till November, the economy is going to be bad, everything is going to be bad. And thereafter, I don't know how long the recovery is going to take, maybe 1 year, 2 years. And businesses don't stop overnight. So that's about all I can say in brief for the moment.
Thank you, sir. We'll now move on to A. Prakash, sir. Please, quickly, in less than 3 minutes, you please explain how to ensure or avoid fluorescence. That is one, maybe not related all the questions. The next one is, what are the additions and alterations that you have to be introduced in construction contracts after recent experiences due to COVID-19? Then the third part of my question is, what steps must state governments and professional bodies should take to train local construction workers and depend less on the migrant labor? Because that has become a major problem, the workforce at the lower level, how to handle this situation because of this COVID-19. Over to you, sir. You're not audible, sir.
Unmute.
I think you have to come closer to your microphone. No sound.
We can't hear him.
Yes, sir. Sir, can you hear us? I think there is some problem. Please check your microphone. We will come back to you. Now I will go to Mr. G.H. Sir, you are known in the industry and now in academia that Professor G.H. Basuraj. I don't know what exactly you're doing, and maybe all the professors in the academia are very much concerned. This question is to you, sir. What direction the construction industry is going in terms of technology, and what are the necessities? When I say this, the methods and methods of construction and related areas.
It's a very, very wide open phenomena you have been asking me.
Yes,
anyway, I'll try to answer in the shortest form. say all of us are attempting to do something better every day. That's our goal. All consultants, all the construction industry sector is attempting to do a better job every day. So this has given me and the people around me and friends, consultant friends around me. So I have attempted to integrate them together, irrespective of our competition, and integrated them towards a better ideas and a better methodologies towards the construction industry. This has brought certain outcomes into the construction sector. So these technologies, what we have been talking about, they are all small things, but they are integrated in such a way that it can really reflect onto the cost of the construction as well on the simplicity of the people who this construction. These works are going on around me. So with the help of Nagendra Kumar, Dr. Manmohan Kalgal, our Mumbai, Sterling Head. So these we have integrated together and working towards these goals towards the construction industry related simplicity. This is one of the aspects. Second aspect, what I have to express today in this platform is, say we have been watching the workers. Are you able to hear me, Ashwath?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Please go ahead. It is audible.
Yeah, yeah. Say this COVID-19 has exposed the humanity, especially the construction-related people, to see the workers away from the work, working without a proper life, without a proper facility. So this definitely will give a huge change to our thoughts and the way we work further. So this is where a rental housing for the workers is an idea which has been floated in the country by the Prime Minister. I think we have a large goal to play around this as group of good consultants in the country.
Call
So
center not linked.
hello, Ashwath, are you
Hello.
here? You are hearing me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So this rental housing for the construction workers is an extraordinary idea, but it has to be done quickly. That means you should be able to erect a housing facility, permanent housing facility in the shortest period. So we have been processing this thought process by the help of all these whole teams and trying to come out with, say, 20% weight say oriented buildings with what we have been doing normally. So this is roughly attempting to do total dead weight of only 20%. Say maybe ground and 7, ground and 8, irrespective of that. So there is a combination of structural engineering and material science we have been working around. So these thoughts have emerged in these last 3-4 months around us. So we have worked around this. It's a very early beginning, say, to express anything deeper into this. But thought processes are towards the migrant workers, small houses, permanent houses, rentable at 2,000 rupees or 2,500 rupees or 3,000 rupees by the government or by the private sector, and then make them a good facility and make them available and secured to the construction industry. It does not reflect only for the construction industry. It will say be for all the migrant workers. This idea has to emerge in a big way for the stabilizations of all these economic activities. I end my talk with this note. So anything further, if you ask me, I'll answer.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I think we will come back with more specific questions from the participants. Now, can we check A.N. Prakash, sir?
Yes, sir. Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now you can go ahead. Do you remember the question, sir?
Please repeat. I'm too old to remember.
Okay, please, sir. Go ahead.
Yeah, first question was on the humor.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
First question was the humor in project management. Not in just project management, my opinion, humor is
At every moment.
any moment, all the time, as Basavaraj knows, that we have to be
every moment.
I tend to feel that all these project meetings are made into a very serious issue, which is not necessary. I think we have to have one dimension of all these meetings as a humor. As a matter of fact, quite a lot of people have appreciated the way the meetings are conducted because it is held in a very light manner, and therefore people become very comfortable. They are at ease. We are able to communicate with each other very easily. And that is essential at every step. That's what my feeling is about, just not the construction project management, in the human life and your day-to-day life itself. That's my answer to this. Yes, sir. Did you hear
Yes,
me?
sir. Good one.
Was
Good
it
one.
clear
Good one.
or not?
Yes, sir, it was clear. Regarding the next two questions, I'll come back to you shortly.
Okay.
Now I will move on to A.T. Samuel. We have Mr. Nirnath Bandhu. He has got about 22 years of experience. 22 years of experience, and he talks about the way the consultancy services are being handled in the industry, both as consultants and contractors, the relationship between the contractors and consultants, etc. And please highlight what are the reasons for deteriorating standard of consultancy services and its remedial measures. Now, as you are popularly known in the industry, you are a strict master. How do you handle the other part of contract and nexus and other things? How do you make it more transparent and do the business? It is Samuel, sir, please.
So you asked me a very difficult question. Okay, so I think one is about deteriorating standards of consultancy. I think this deterioration is not limited to only consultancy; it is all over the human lives. What is, I have been in this field of consulting. I joined as a trainee engineer under Mr. Umesh Rao, and I'm glad to be in the panel where sitting along with him in the same panel. Now, what has happened the last 40 years? So 40 years ago, so 40 years ago, the consultants means it was not purely a business. It was offering a service and commercial part of its own angle. But today, that due to change of life in all spheres, this approach has got changed, and the consultancy business also has become a commercial business. It is no longer a business like what it was 40 years ago. Now, how to get good work with a contractor? See, contractor is also doing another. He is also in another business model. So, contractors, he will do a good job as long as he doesn't lose money. So, if I'm a consultant, I tell all my colleagues, we are not there at the site to be as policemen. We need to facilitate the contractor doing a job quickly and well, so he should not have to repeat his job. So every part of it, you work side by side. You don't need to mingle with him, but you can be a part of this whole project, and you do your job. The contractor does his job, and facilitate him doing a job very quickly and without wasting time and money. Once you start doing this, when you start doing that sort of work, when he finds that the advice given by a consultant, although it may be hard to listen to first because it is, he's telling do like this, do like that. But when ultimately he realizes you are adding value, and when the project is completed, he will say a good job has been done without wasting money. He will be very happy to work with you. So basically, you need to maintain the relationship well. You don't get mixed with him, but make sure you play your role well. You don't need to be a policeman. You have to be an engineer at site. Is that okay, Mr. Professor Aswath?
Good one, Samuel.
Thank you. Professor Aswath is lost, huh?
He has gone for a cup of tea.
I'm here only. Now the questions Shiva Prasad GS, head of Design Review Bureau Veritas. He is asking two questions. One is why there is no minimum clause of structural design fees. During starting of my career, the ₹5 per square feet. Even after 15 years, can I ask this question to Professor? Is into maintenance days What is your answer, sir? With this, sir. One second. Yes,
Hello.
sir, you can speak. Yeah.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Can you hear me? Can
Yes,
you hear
sir.
me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Okay.
we can see you also. We can see you also.
Okay, thank you. In the modern context, this consultant fee is a very, very thing discussed all over the world, in a matter of fact. As I know, as I've been working with my colleagues and all those things, right from my teaching days, this 5 rupees per square foot, I don't know how it can arrive at, based on what factors. And as he rightly said, even today, 5 rupees per square foot is still thriving. And as I know, if you get 5 rupees per square foot, our consultant, today's consultant will jump with joy, particularly large projects, 5 lakhs, 10 lakhs, like that. In that range, if anybody gets 5 rupees per square foot for the structural consultancy, he must feel happy as on today. But I have come across people even working for 2 rupees per square foot for large projects. I don't know how they are doing it, but 5 rupees per square foot even now is quite comfortable. We can work on that project, and I don't think with the cost escalation today and the promoters is very difficult. When it comes directly to consultants, from the appointment from the owner to the promoter to the consultant, then only we can demand more. Most of the time, the structural consultants are working under architects. The architect is given the total project and he negotiates like anything. Scale is the factor, scale is the matter. So all the structural engineers, as long as they work under architects, this fees problem is always there. Unless and until the appointment is made by the promoter directly or the client directly, this fees problem always runs slow, and we have to work with the minimum fees for the maximum service we give. That's what I've seen. I'm feeling also, experiencing even today. That's what I can say. Until and unless the structural engineers are appointed directly with the consultants, the owners, clients, promoters, it is not possible to enhance the structural consultancy fees more than 5 rupees per square foot. And if anybody gets more than 5 rupees per square foot, is very, very good. They can go ahead. Just to give an example, I have a good friend of mine who is also a very active person in ACCE. He says he gets 8 rupees, 10 rupees per square foot. I do not know how and where, which project he gets that much of money. And he says unless he gets 8 rupees per square foot, he doesn't work at all. And if that attitude is exercised by everybody, and I think we can demand fees more than 5 rupees per square foot. Otherwise, until you work under architects, you will not get fees more than what it is being paid today. That's what my conclusion is. Thank you.
Well, thank you, sir. There is one more question asked by the same person on the engineer's bill. Maybe I will come back a little later. As you ended with your answer, as long as we work under somebody, it is very difficult to get our real view. That is a major question. Now I will move on to Dr. N. Ramprakash, sir. Please unmute yourself. And there is one question on use of different kinds of precast systems in affordable housing projects. Can you show some information or throw some light on this? Because I've heard you've done precast very long back, and what is the scenario today? A.N. Prakash, maybe A.N. Prakash can also add later. Dr. N. Ramprakash, sir.
Yeah, hello. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Please go ahead.
The thing is, the key factor in achieving all our targets, large targets, are going to be precast. And mass housing is one of the major thrusts which this government is having along with the infrastructure. So there has been an ingress of a lot of precast systems coming into India. And recently I came across a company which is making a house in two parts, a precast house itself. It's making in a factory and then bringing it and assembling it within 3 days or 4 days on a particular site, and making a house, a 2-bedroom house with it. So systems, unless they come into India and they're encouraged by everybody, these systems won't come in. There are plenty of systems which are available, and as most of you know, it is do it to yourself is the mantra which is followed all over abroad. And you have home depots where you can go and do it. I have seen people who build on the weekends. So a lot of this is likely to come in and should come in if we are to achieve those targets which these people are talking about by 2030, 2025 and all that. So this is what I think. But as it stands today, a lot of good systems have come into place. But what I have been observing is that pre-stress is not getting its place. We're not.
Is it audible? I'm not.
I think we lost contact with him.
Okay, we'll come back to him once he's get connected. Now I will take another question. Yes, that question was raised by one Mr. Alok Maheshwari. I think Maheshwari sir, we will come back once we get the connectivity with Dr. Ram Prakash. Now I will go to our other eminent structural consultant, Umesh B. Rao. Sir, there is one question from Shrikant. He says there are many experts in our construction industry, but in the limelight or in the media, not the major consultants will come in. Some X and Y will be addressing on issues connected to construction industry. What is the reason and why our experts don't come and give their explanations when there is a failure, for example, or some other issue is there? Can you throw some light, because you are there very popular, and also you are involved in ICI, Insert, and ACC. And also you can say you are also very popular in demonstrating most of the issues through place. I have seen in one of the ACC. Umesh Rao, sir? Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Please go ahead.
Yeah, let's take the first one. Most of the engineers cannot really write the way media expects them to write. But if somebody is willing to interview, they can express themselves and it can be converted into an article. And that's one of the limitations of most of the engineers when it comes to writing. Hence, probably you don't find them writing more articles, but if somebody approaches, maybe the views could be expressed and that can be converted into an article, but engineers by themselves, very few can write well. That's the first part of it. Second, whenever there is a problem, then the issues are any collapse has a multiple reasons, and it is extremely difficult to express yourself immediately. Unless the data is collected, it's easy to become to talk about it the moment an incident happens, but that may be only a thought process. And one of the issues, because we know it right from the day when Gangaram building collapsed in 1983, where ACC got formed, or subsequently a lot of them, whether Akashdeep in Bombay or Mount Terraces in Bombay or any one of them. So I don't think any person would come and express the views on any of the distressed or collapsed buildings. Some data is available. So that's the second part of it. I do hope that answers your query.
Oh, I think we have to ask the person who has raised this issue. Okay, let us see how it takes. I will come back again. Now I will move on to our another consultant expert, N.N. Nagendra Kumar sir. Sir, now I'm seeing now the most of the consultants are hit by the COVID-19, and as such, the consultancy fee is very less. Now there is again and again questions on this system. Since your organization is spread in different cities, and you must be having some experience in this. I think sometime back I've heard IASTRUCT, the organization like ACCE for structural engineers, they have come out with a policy of fee fixing. You have any idea about it, and how to get our due while charging for the services? Nagendra Kumar sir.
Yeah. Regarding whatever you asked, it is a long drawn battle. It's not that you can win over a day or something like that. Hello, am I
Yes,
audible?
sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Please.
Yeah, it's a long drawn process. Almost it has taken at least 30 years of our the fee is paid to the structural consultants directly. So it is such a long drawn process because everything which is established is very difficult to change. So it's an effort, it is ongoing effort, definitely. And of course, in Bangalore, yes, we have been, since the size of the jobs have increased, so the total amount you get have got little larger in sizes. So that is how the fee of that is, surviving. Surviving is the only thing which I can tell. At this stage of COVID, I think every individual should think how one improvement he has to bring in himself, whether he is a site engineer, whether he is a client's engineer or consultant's engineer or project management. One technical skill he has to upgrade himself, so that in future we can be definitely more equipped to serve the community, instead of imagining, oh no, I don't have this, I don't have that. Let us improve our skill. Each one should think, I should improve in one skill. It could be Revit modeling, it could be another software, or anything like that. They have to make a sincere effort to upgrade their knowledge to further.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much, sir. Now I will come back to A.N. Prakash, sir. You are the expert in management of the projects. Now, please give some tips to manage the businesses of the consultants in this critical time. There is another related question asked by Mr. Shashikant is that structural design, estimation, supervision, billing, etc., are paying peanuts to civil engineers. So, what kind of services the consultants should take it up to make their living, sir?
Somebody is talking.
It is question for you, sir. A.N. Prakash, sir.
Ashwath, Dr. Ashwath, what was the first question? It was not clear.
First question, some tips for the consultants. We have different people. All of you are successful, you have no issues. But the people who have just started the business or in the earlier stages of their businesses, they're finding it very difficult to manage this situation. So can you show some way how they can manage and get the projects?
I think this happens in all spectrums. Necessarily fixed to structural engineers or PMC. They have to struggle initially to prove themselves. It is not very easy to say, it is equally easy to say they pay peanuts. In my opinion, please start with peanuts, then you may get cashews and whatever badami later on, but start with that and prove yourself. It is sort of a catch-22 situation. How do you solve this catch-22 situation? Let me give you an example of my own life. When I started 3 decades back, people said construction management is an oxymoron. Construction and management will never go together. How is that you want to manage construction project? Umesh, who is a classmate of mine, he knows, he is one of those who recognize this at the earlier stage. So there is somewhere you have to make the doors open and prove yourself. You know, once your value is understood, nobody is going. Example to all these clients of mine who come take tender and ask for bids from doctors. They go to a doctor directly based on his qualification and his experience. So one of the things that I suggest is, yes, initially, I mean, just before this, Dr. Jagdish said that 5 rupees is a very good one because the area of construction that is done today is much more than what it was done being 20 years back. Therefore, I think it is up to us. We will have to prove ourselves, and then definitely you will be paid what you are worth, and all of them are going to be recognized, and you will have to part. And Shrikant has asked another question. If Dr. Aswath, if I might take one more minute.
Yes, sir, please.
Yes, in his earlier question, he has said, I feel all the 8 eminent engineers should write articles, at least 2 numbers each, which should be highlight the civil engineering in the construction and understandable to common citizens. First of all, Mr. Shrikant, one is today there is nobody. Is, as Dr. Aswath told in the introduction, I have realized this, people have paucity of time. One of the things that I started doing is started putting YouTubes of only 3 or 4 minutes and educating the common man. There are people who are saying how to do curing, people don't know. I think all of us, if possible, it is easier to put on YouTube and talk. As Umesh just now mentioned, we may write highly technical articles. It may not be easily understood by a common man. So I think we should write articles. I'm not saying it should be on professional articles written to professional. What is happening is there is almost a sort of an incest within the organization. We keep writing to everybody, but the common man doesn't know. So we have to educate the common man also, and probably it is through more where people are today, you know, they keep watching YouTube even when sitting in a bus or a car on the Android phones. I think we should use the social media that is available to teach everybody. That's my opinion. Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you, sir. Now there is one interesting question is there asked by Mr. Datta Kare. Why consulting engineering firms does only structural design, PMC services design, except architecture? ACC should promote its members to incorporate architecture also in their offices. Anybody can take this question.
Can I answer this?
Yeah. Yes, sir. Go ahead. Answer and then Prakash, sir.
See, there is a there's an Architect Act 1972, which was promoted by architect Pilumodi in 1970. Hello, can you hear?
Yeah. Samuel,
we can hear. From beginning.
Okay. See, there is in our country there is an act called Architects Act, which was passed by the Parliament in 1972. That was passed by Mr. Architect Pilumodi when he was a member of the Parliament. Now, what that is a very very retrograde act which prevents, which gives all position of strength to the architect. So that is why I think somebody else asked this question. The engineers bill has been tottering, and because there is no unanimity amongst engineers to even move this bill. So someday I hope this bill will come. But in the meanwhile, Delhi High Court and the Bhopal High Court has also given one judgment saying that architects are not the most superior people. Engineers also have the same position in the construction industry. So I don't think your statement that consultants are doing only structural PMC, like I work for Stu. We have architects with us, but this business of architect act is creating trouble for us. So we have a sister concern, which is an architectural firm. So when such acts are applied, we have a joint venture between us and our sister concern. So it is possible for us to find a way out of this situation.
Okay. ANP, you would like to add?
No, I think Samuel has said that, but what Samuel said is, as a matter of fact, I think I circulated that. Supreme Court itself has said that your engineers can practice and nobody can stop them. I think there's a recent ruling that is given. And secondly, in my opinion, if it's a very large firm, you can have everybody under. We get peanuts, so let us focus on that peanut and get. In my opinion, you should see. For me also, when people said you are doing PMC, why don't you do structural engineering? Why don't you do everything? If I were to say in Kannada, I say that I know how to do Majigavali Tave and I do that. I don't want to do anything else. So I'm specialized in that and I'll continue to do that. It depends on you, what you want to do, and you can practice. Nobody is stopping you.
Okay.
Can I get in here?
Yes, sir. Please go ahead, sir.
Yeah, the profession in which we are there as structural consultants in building industry, there is what is called as a knowledge base which you need to possess. As panelists said, yes, we can have a secondary organization which is architectural. We can design consortium, we can do and get the jobs. But as a civil engineer come structural engineer, we are never exposed to architecture at all. Unless you make your efforts to develop that skill of architecture in you, you will not be physically trained to do that work. So it is not very wise that all structural engineers must be allowed to. No. So this is a very difficult composition of structural engineers practicing as architects. So it will not be technically correct in the building industry. I am not talking of transportation or roads and things like that. But whereas in the building industry, the requirements itself is not conceivable by most of the people. Even if you conceive, you cannot think out of the box solution. You give 10 structural engineers and ask him to draw a 2-bedroom house. He will go mostly into rectangle or squares only. He can't think any way other than that. So it is very, very difficult question to answer why structural engineers cannot, because it is an independent profession. Whereas the law which says that they cannot practice is not correct. That is all what I am trying to explain. Because it is very, very important to understand and plan. This is my opinion.
Can I add, Dr. Aswath?
Okay, please.
See, having heard Nagendra now, basically I hold a master's degree in structures. So just now the way Nagendra said, it's somewhere in between. We started practicing and then for project management. If you were to ask me, have you, as a structural engineer, have you designed? I have not even designed a column or a footing. I have never practiced that and done it. But there is somewhere in between. I thought that I have the skills to do project management when I was working India and abroad. Then I realized that I can do it and I started. So if you realize, either you develop that skill or you do something that is there. But basically, as Nagendra said, unless you are trained in something, you should have that particular skill to do it. Otherwise, you have to hire somebody who will do it for you under your this thing, as Samuel said. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody
Can
want to add?
Aswath, can I add one sentence?
Yes, sir. Please go ahead, sir.
Say architecture and structural engineering, they are the coexistent things for the need of the human beings in a construction industry. Nobody prevents you to say practice architecture provided you have the skill and the passion for it. Architecture comes by education, both by passion as well by trained acquaintance. If we are not trained, if we have a passion, we can say do a business. If it is for a business, there are enough ways to do together. But structural engineering is professionally, scientifically trained profession. So others cannot practice structural engineering unless they are trained with physics and science.
I think
we lost him.
Okay.
ಅದುವರೆ ಆಯ್ತಲ್ಲ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ.
Okay, I think all the concern for the information, the Architect Act is very clearly says they should, anybody who is practicing other than architect should not claim the title of architect, but it is, nobody is barred to practice these services, whether it is architectural services or engineering services. I think a lot of debate is going on among the professionals, both in architecture and civil engineering. Shortly, there will be some conclusion on this. And the engineers bill is also now submitted by the All India Council for Technical Education to the Ministry of HRD. The draft is already submitted. Maybe some deliberations will happen, and shortly we will get engineers bill, which will also give some direction for professional practice in the engineering community, not only for civil engineers, for all the engineers. Now, one
hello, Mr.
question.
Aswath, can I come in?
Yeah, please.
This is Gururaj here.
Yes, sir. Please, sir.
Yeah. Good evening, everybody. I think.
Good evening, Gururaj.
Yeah. Hi, Prakash. How are you, everybody?
Fine.
It's a very nice subject and nice topic which you have started. So I just want to add on here. See, structural engineering, architecture, everything is a part of the building industry. But a structural engineer, if his passion is there, see, because most of the education that happens in engineering and architecture to a great extent is common for a certain number of years and certain subjects. It's the passion for which you have to do. Architects, by just passing architecture, cannot become a great architect, neither a structural engineer. But an architect cannot become a structural engineer at any point of time, because it is a huge engineering consisting of mathematics, consisting of so many things which goes with that. But whereas a structural engineer is put in a little bit of efforts in knowing what has to be done as an architect, knowing the parameters, etc., can develop himself into an architect. But unfortunately, because of the law which has been passed, which has been forced on the community, there is no importance to the structural engineer to come to become an architect. For example, you can take Satish Gujar, correct? Who was
he's an artist.
Artist. Yeah, he was an artist. He created such a wonderful building, but unfortunately, the architects, didn't accept him as an architect. But the way in which he created buildings are wonderful, actually. So it is architecture is an imagination, and then you develop into it. Then you put all the other ingredients into it, including structure, services, everything. Then it becomes a masterpiece. So you can't take away the, what do you call, innovative mind of a guy who can design this kind of things. So you have to give him an opportunity. But unfortunately, the law doesn't give him that option. the law has become the, hindrance for him to practice architecture. So if you have a ability, if you have passion, definitely you can do it. And it is encouraging to do it because he can, possess the knowledge of structure engineering to make it work. Okay, so that is my opinion. Thank you.
Thank you, Guru sir, for pitching in. And I think, as you said, it is a very important and hot topic as of now. And the competencies of various professionals is also very clearly defined in the National Building Code, which also rises in the present context about the role of diploma engineers. That is also not properly dealt, because there are a lot of diploma engineers also in this field. And I think all the experts, all of you, should think over it and define what are the competency levels and up to what level the diploma engineers can get into the field. And one clarity I would like, as far as I have understood, the Architect Act does not abolish or prohibit anybody to practice the services, building industry services.
Yeah,
It only says you cannot call yourself as an architect and do it.
Can I say something? See, the architect demands,
because under his
demands the directors of a company have to be architects. You cannot have a director of an architectural engineer cannot be a director of an architectural company. That's where the problem is coming.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
There is one more.
So the recent Supreme Court judgment has given some direction and clarity, and maybe we need more clarity on this.
No, that is, Prof.Aswath, that is because corporations had set some limit. Engineers can sign only up to 500 square meter. Beyond that, you need architect signature. So that bandwidth gets open for engineers and architects now.
Okay, thank you.
So it is more of the law not allowing the engineer to practice. It is not that the engineer, as just now as Gururaj mentioned, if you look at history and look at Italy, for example, Nervi was there, is an Italian engineer, come an architect.
Correct.
Calatrava, who is there, who is an engineer, come an architect. It is only in this country that it is unfortunately the law that is making people not to practice. So if you have the skill, if you are a good fellow who has got the imagination, like any other country, you are an engineer can practice as an architect, should be allowed. If he gets recognized, he is there. That's it.
Dr. Aswath, can I add a point here?
Yes, sir. Please go ahead.
Yeah. Good evening, all. This is Ranganath here. I appreciate all the points that were mentioned by Mr. Gururaj. But one point I would like to clarify here is the law has definitely not stopped any civil engineer from practicing architectural. They can render architectural services. The Act also very clearly specifies that the Act upholds the title and style of an architect. A civil engineer providing architectural services cannot call himself as an architect. As long as it does not call himself as an architect, he is free to give architectural services. This is given in the Act, and this was upheld by all the courts, high courts, and finally, even the Supreme Court has given a judgment that civil engineers can render architectural services as long as they don't call themselves as an architect. This is very clear. So the law is not against civil engineers from rendering the architectural services. It's actually the COA, Council of Architecture, which is trying to bring in some hurdles in the way to ensure that they have an exclusive right over architectural services, which has not been allowed to them. Even in 1972, this argument took place in the parliament, where the parliamentarians very clearly stated that since civil engineers have been rendering architectural services all these years, they cannot be taken away from providing those services. Hence, the exclusive right cannot be given to architects. Only the title and style can be given as an architect to the people who are registered with COA.
Yeah,
this is the point I would like to make.
But Once again, you cannot
Yeah.
sign
How?
any drawings as behalf of an architect. You have to appoint an architect, or you have to have an architect as a partner to do all that, correct? It's
No,
not that.
legally, no, legally, you cannot sign as an architect.
Yes,
But you
exactly.
can
That's
sign
what
as
I'm
an
telling.
engineer. You can sign
Yeah.
as an engineer. And
But it is
engineers
not
can
accepted,
provide.
no? It is only accepted to certain limit, say 500 square meters.
But I think all of us must recognize, friends, the architecture is like structural engineering or MEP engineering. Architecture is another branch of building science. So we, and if you don't have that building science skill set in us, we should desist from doing it.
If you have the point that comes here is those of the civil engineers who have the skill and the capability of rendering these services, I don't think they should be stopped from doing it.
No, we're
Like after civil engineering, you are going to specialize yourself into structural engineer. Like that, probably there are some civil engineers who specialize themselves into architecture, and you see many civil engineers in the rural areas who are rendering services of architectural as well as other engineering services. I don't think you can stop them from doing it.
So
You
for
might
example,
not do
Mr.
it as a structural engineer.
Kiran Shankar, who did the engineering, then went into architecture.
Yeah, became chief architect.
Yes.
Sir, can I add one point here, Aswath sir?
We will lose time.
Sir, Aswath sir, can I add a point here?
Yeah, I think this topic is an endless discussion. It becomes an argument. I think
Only one point. Only one point, sir.
okay, Srikanth, just a minute, and then we'll move to another. There are a lot of questions coming in. Go ahead, Srikanth, and complete your point.
Yes, sir. The NBC has recognized the civil engineers at par with architects as long as the competence is concerned. We don't have any limit for signing the architectural plans. This is what the clarification I wanted to give it to the arguments which is going on. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Srikanth. I think for the members' information, Srikanth is looking after the issues and advocacies at the ACCE, and if any authorities are not accepting engineer signatures, maybe you can look into that, Srikanth. Now we'll move on to another interesting question raised by Mr. Alok Maheshwari. He is asking, please discuss the pedagogy in engineering colleges to ensure that the breed of new engineers, our industry ready for the new engineers for becoming them to be industry ready. Our universities and colleges, barring a few, provide only seat and infrastructure. But where is the upgraded and forwarded looking vision and hunger being built into the DNA of budding engineers? Maybe we can start off with Professor Jagdish, who has seen both the worlds, and then the others can add on.
Thank you, Dr. Aswath. This we discussed in the last get-together, online get-together, making teaching and research. That is what I went through, that IST guidelines. They are giving a lot of importance for teaching and research. And also, they have also introduced this training during the course of study. And as I mentioned the last time also, it is impossible to train a particular student to suit a particular industry. As we heard on that day, Mr. Rutresh lecture, there are about 24 disciplines, and in that each has got so many divisions. To what industry you train? Undergraduate is always for training a general engineer. Specialization can be taken only after that, depending upon his interest. However, during the process of learning, as a professor you also know, there are so many electives offered. Individual elective specialized courses offered. A student can always select his field of interest and select those electives and route himself to specialize himself in that particular field of engineering, only to the extent of those specialized courses. But internship is a very important thing which is recommended by AICTE. But as all of us know, there are more than 10,000 students coming every year. And where do you train these 10,000 students to undergo training? Who is ready to give training for that. Just to give an example of UVG itself, there are about 120 students in final year. About 120 students, what training you give, where do you give, who is going to accept given training? And most of the people who send it to these consultants for training. How many consultants come forward to give training? Because they don't have free time to train a student. They don't have free time to train a student. And field work also, who is going to take these people to train? One of the largest organization is PWD. When you send somebody to PWD organizations to train for them, I have seen they don't get any training at all. By force, they may take, but they will not give any practical training. But that has become a big problem. Where to train, how to train, and because a large number. Earlier, when few colleges were there, few students used to be there, definitely you could have sent them to some consultant, some construction field, some other areas where they can accept. Because large number, that's the problem now. Large number, where do you send them for training, and how do you do it? That's how you have to start these finishing schools. It is responsibility of the each college to start a finishing school and give training there and then send them out. That's the only way, as far as I am concerned, being a professor, being a teacher for the last 35 years, and also in the field. That's how what I have felt, and I've been recommending to start the finishing schools, and it should be the responsibility of each college to start the finishing schools and give them the training in the direction of interest of the particular student. That's the only way to give training and send them ready to industry. Otherwise, it's not possible, right? In the present circumstances.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Now I will move on to Umesh P. Rao to say a few words on this topic because he is also involved in the student mentoring program. Various colleges he has visited and he has experienced what is the reaction of the academia for this aspect. Umesh P. Rao, sir.
Yeah, I agree to extent. Dr. Jagdish talked about it. It will be a problem with the numbers of students coming out being so large to deal with them. The students who are in the college, most of them are not from the cities, mega cities, because they are not really looking for a job opportunity because of the educational background that they have. Hence, people who come to the college have do not have the confidence in themselves, neither they have the visualization or imagination that an engineer requires. These need to be taught, and they really don't know what they're going to do because their salaries are so bad. Nobody is really interested in pursuing career in the engineering unless it's a fait accompli. Having been to various colleges and having been involved with these activities, most of the time it is not, students are just indifferent to any speaker, resource person who comes to the college to address them. I don't think we should be able to break the students group in the college to a much smaller level, maybe about 15 or 20 and not really 50 or 60, because then only they'll be interested in the subject that you are talking. Otherwise, it doesn't make any difference to them. And in fact, it is extremely difficult to address students in their college because nobody really listens to you. Nobody is interested in you. I think it's one of the rituals which colleges continue to do to the college. This is all what I can say.
Okay. BSc Rao, you would like to add anything because you're also of late giving some faculty development in Metro Institute and other things. How do you feel about the freshers? What is missing in the academy?
I think far more experienced people and far more knowledgeable people have already covered the subject completely for me to add anything more. I think we have got eminent professors, eminent people in the teaching industry who have been able to explain this extremely well. And I think I respect all that they have said. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now we have another very interesting question raised by Sammelan Mukherjee. India being the second largest cement consumer in the world, our construction fraternity has a large responsibility. What role could we expect from our eminent structural designers on being the torchbearers for performance-based specifications? So I repeat, performance-based specifications and ensuring sustainability through reduced embodied carbon in our built environment. Emerging technologies like carbon capture and its usage in concrete, increasing percentage of SCMs in concrete, removing minimum cement content clauses, making declaration of EPD mandatory for all building material manufacturers are a few steps which could be incorporated in our IS codes speedily through our experienced influential structural consultants. Now, I would like to ask in the participant list, I see Engineer Ajit, Dr. Ajit Sabnis and Kalgal also, who are into the sustainability and the cement industry. Can I request them to unmute themselves and add their views here, please, if they don't mind? Kalgal?
Yeah, good evening, everybody. I thought you mentioned Ajit and myself, so I thought let us speak first. Okay. Is Ajit there?
Yeah, he is there. Maybe after you. His mic is muted.
Okay, you are able to hear me, no? Right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Please go ahead.
Okay. As far as the performance-based specifications are concerned, it has to come through the BIS. Of course, ISO is moving towards performance-based specifications. So slowly, IS also will form or follow in line. Making performance-based specifications is easier said than done. There are a lot of things. There are a lot of gaps which are there in terms of how do we specify the performance and how do we evaluate the performance. On both lines, a lot of work is going on. ISO committees, now BIS is a part of ISO committee, and obviously a lot of people are working on it. Secondly, regarding awareness on sustainability, we have a long way to go because right now, all those who are educated, who listen to lectures will agree that sustainability is a good cause to talk about. But when it comes to implementation, hardly anybody is interested in, everybody wants to build with pure cement, like OPC. They don't want to use blended cement.
Well said. Well said.
And blended cements are considered to be adulterated cements with all the knowledge, even with all the education that we give and we shout from rooftops. The specifiers in the industry, specifiers in various sectors still have a hang up on the purity of the concrete by OPC, which itself is wrong. And how many of them are interested in evaluating the embodied energy and operating energy? That itself is a moot question. Now, yes, it's a long haul, but it's happening. But the first and important thing that government has done is government is making it mandatory for major government works or where government grant is there to have Griha certification. That's a good move because the charity has to begin there. So I'm sure over a period of time this will happen. It will not happen overnight, but all consultants also included, many consultants have this hang up about the blended cement utilization. Now there are certain rules which are made in the BIS for cement, but such rules are not there for concrete. So people are having a merry time. People are adding whatever they want in concrete because the concrete code is not tight enough. The cement code is over tight. So these are issues on which we are now fighting at the BIS level. I'm sure over a period of time this will happen. Consciously, all engineers are requested to build in sustainability concepts, especially in terms of wastages. There is so much of wastage that's happening in materials. We're using good quality materials, but using very inefficiently. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Kalgal, for your inputs. And Ajit, can you come in?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
please.
Ashwath, what is the question, Ashwath? Can you kindly repeat it? I was not there for a moment.
Question in general is the cement is extensively used in all the aspects of construction industry. Efforts to produce using the performance-based specifications for the purpose of sustainability.
We lost you in between, Ashwath.
Sir?
We lost you in between, one or two sentences.
Okay.
No, that's okay. I think I heard Kalgal replying it, so probably my reply would be on the same line. But all said and done, concrete still is one of the most formidable material that we should consider at least for the next 3 to 4 decades. We have huge mindset. We have to bring in a huge paradigm shift in our very thinking itself from the sustainability point of view, for the simple reason that there is already a locked-in period of about 40 to 50 years. The impact of greenhouse gases, the impact of global warming, etc., is already there. We are already behind about 40 years. What I mean to say is the greenhouse gases emitted about 40 years back are still active today. So if we take and design a building with a design life of about 50 to 60 years, and if we don't take the impact of all these climate change, etc., into consideration, we will actually not doing unfair to the future generations and nothing else other than that. For having said, concrete is going to be there for the simple reason that urbanization is going to be there. The high-rise buildings are going to be there, and then probably as of now, we may talk about so many structures with earth-rammed, structures, etc. We still will have RCC framed structures for buildings and also for several infrastructure projects. So concrete cannot be done away with. But as we say, like, how do we reduce the impact of concrete on the general atmosphere and then the environment? For me, as a sustainability focus, for me, concrete is a very sustainable material, except the part of role of cement which it has, for the simple reason there is no material except steel and concrete which will be durable when it is, of course, considered as there is no compromise for the quality part of it. It lasts long, and ultimately everything, all the concrete usage happens only in the construction stage. When we talk about sustainability of concrete, we don't consider these things. We start talking about the life cycle impact of concrete, which actually doesn't have much meaning. The whole concrete utilization and then the impact of cement happens only during the construction stage, and then it doesn't happen. So that is where the spike phenomena, carbon spike phenomena, comes into the picture. So we need to be very specific, especially at this stage of construction. And I'm sure the ECBC code, which is an energy conservation building code, which is still in a draft stage, which was earlier only for the commercial projects, and then now ECBC, which has come as some eco samhite, that has come for residential building, which all these things are partially they have not been implemented. Now NBC 2016 has got elaborate details in sustainability, approach to sustainability, and I think we start, and it's very unfortunate. That is what I feel, my interaction with so many people. Still we have some kind of a inhibition to take forward the sustainability as a part of our life. It has to be, there is no other go for us except we look at sustainable development as an holistic and all-inclusive development. Thank you.
Okay, ECBC code is gazetted, Ajit, so it is there already.
I think
it is not mandatory. It made mandatory, I think. So it is still
will take some time. That will take some time.
Okay,
but
I think
the notification is there. 2018.
Please.
ECBC is made compulsory in PWD buildings. ECBC booklet is separate to all the PWD departments, to follow all these rules, regulations, whatever was given in that. They're already in there. They're already in there. But how many people strictly use it is the question.
Sir,
It's
out
already
of
there.
all the states in Karnataka, only, I mean, in the country,
Yeah.
only 2 or 3 states have implemented them in the government works.
Yes. Karnataka PWD has already done it.
Yes.
Karnataka PWD has already done it.
Okay, sir, thank you both of you. And now this is a very important question in the present context. We have Dr. R.V. Ranganath. You can take a minute and talk about performance-based specification. And then I will come back to the consultants, N.M. Nagendra Kumar and A.T. Samuel. How you are practicing this? For example, when you suggest the design to your office, just say specifying minimum cement content. Is it necessary, or increasing the percentage of SCMs also focusedly addressed? So these points maybe as consultants you can add on. Now we have expert on these areas, Dr. R.V. Ranganath. Ranganath sir, can you hear? R.V. Ranganath. Hello. Okay. Sir, A.T. Samuel sir and N.M. Nagendra Kumar sir, when you specify, you just say the grade of concrete, or you get into these performance-based specifications for design mix and other things?
I would like to clarify here.
Yes.
Hello.
Go ahead, sir.
Matadi. Yeah, whenever we specify concrete, it is not just the cement content. The overall performance is specified. Like it should have, admixture. It should have, depending on the strength requirements, you will specify the proportion or whatever it is. What I have seen, what is my experience is, in a high strength concrete, the parameters have to be very, very meticulously planned and executed. That is where we are finding difficulty with RMC come to such a mix given to this particular site and go to M25 at another site, where we have done exclusively with GBS content also. But the problem is, how do we ensure, because you are not sure what concrete is coming in that mixer, except the chalan. There are no other really look at it. As a site engineer, in one of my one column which was supposed to be M50 grade, it turned out after 28 days it is M22. What kind of strengthening you suggest? So it is in a risky environment as such, because unless the whole system improves, and I am guaranteeing you what I am giving is what you have asked for, it is becoming very difficult for consultants, because again, you will have to only go there, give retrofitting, inspect the retrofittings and things like that. So that is where we have said anything above 40 grade, we are to 20% of GGBS content to just manage the execution part of the in the system. Wherever it is site specific, we have tried much differently also. I had one discussion on one particular project where mixed designs were done, and with 40% of GGBS, we were able to get 50, 60 and all that. But then client said, not for my job in this state. So it's a process which has to happen. One is like, like in a floor mill, avun modle ಹೇಳ್ತಾನೆ ರಾಗಿ ಹಾಕಿದ್ದೀನಿ ನಾನೀಗ ಅಂತ. ಆ ತರ they should become very, very specific And when they give it to very high strength concrete, there has to be some regulatory media, for which I was suggesting, BTS ಬಸ್ಸಲ್ಲಿ 333E ಅಂತ ಒಂದು ನಂಬರ್ ಹಾಕಿರ್ತಾರಲ್ಲ, that way they should display this mix is M60 which is coming to site, and the lid should be closed so that no tampering of that will happen. These two also have not been implemented by any of the so it becomes very risky for structural consultants to keep allowing 50% of GGBS, and if that strength does not come out, has been I will leave the discussion here.
Yes, sir. Thank you. And ATS, sir, you would like to
see, IS 456 says any structure above ground level, you must have minimum 280 kg per cubic meter cement, and below ground it should be 290 kg per cement, 280 kg per cubic meter. So this is all, and the performance requirement. So we have even replaced 50% with GGBS, not today, maybe 15 years ago. So we have no issues because we recognize the benefit of using Pozzolana or GGBS in terms of reduction in heat of hydration or resistance in aggressive atmosphere. So we have no issues. But when we do PMC, we make sure enough trials are made and every quality assurance programs are done quite well to say that the concrete performance are achieved. So we have had no problem. Of course, save odd situation which can happen anywhere. The problem what Nagendra was saying, this RMC is a big problem. They mix dust. They say permit us use 10% dust, 20%. I don't permit allowing using any dust in the concrete. In fact, I put one of my engineers at their RMC plant. Any cement which is mixed for us, it is supervised and certified by engineer. Ultimately, as Mr. Nagendra said, the responsibility is in the shoulder of a structural engineer to ensure safety and security of the building. Does that clear your question?
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. And RMC quality is a major concern because a lot of players are there in the industry.
RMC trustworthiness.
See, it is there in every business. In every business, the industry. A lot of things are there. I think the next question asked by Mr. Sharad is connected to that. I'll come to that to conclude. We are coming to close to our time limit. 1.5 hours is over. Now, as I mentioned, a lot of measures are taken by the Quality Council of India and RMCMA for maintaining the quality of ready-mix concrete, and they're also doing a lot of work on performance-based specifications. Now, we will come to the close. I think not many questions are there. Some clarifications are given by some of the participants. To close, I request all the panelists to answer this question and also make your closing remark for taking about a minute and of time. What steps are being taken to reduce corruption, overrun of cost in national projects by the association's senior experts? This is the question asked by Mr. Engineer Sharad. And you answer this question, and also you can make a closing remark on this panel discussion. And I think to the end of the time limit, we will be closing in another few minutes, sir. Thank you.
Dr. Aswath, can I take that question?
Yes, sir. Go ahead, sir, please.
See, I have been involved in a large number of national level metro projects over the years, and many other infrastructure projects also. The problem about overrun and costs is a built-in problem. It is deliberately done. Because what happens is, in order to get a project approved by the government, you first show that the cost is low and that the benefits are very high. Get the project approved, get it started, get it online, get it executed. As it starts getting executed, you raise the cost and reduce the benefits. This is what is happening in almost every project that you see. It is a built-in thing. In fact, there's a very good book on the subject which I have read, where this is not only in India, all across the world, major infrastructure projects which are done by the government, it is deliberately underquoted and over benefited, or rather overhyped. And then once the construction starts, the real cost comes up and the real benefits come down. So this is a thing that is very, very difficult to eradicate. Certainly not by an association like ours. Whatever you might tell the government, they are not going to listen to you, because a lot of money is involved in all these things. And if you don't do, if you really show the actual project cost, most of the projects will not be approved. And this is where the problem is. It's a bit of a chicken and egg situation. So this is what I would like to add on this.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. And before going to the next panelist, there was a long pending question raised by Nirmal Kumar P. Rajmane. Sir, you can take just half a minute and say about your comment, what you want to do. Nirmal
Are you
Kumar.
able to hear me?
Yes, sir. Please go ahead, sir. But only 1 minute, sir.
Okay. Now about the cement content. Okay. There is no necessity for making the cement content minimum as any parameter. First. Second, coming to performance, based specification. The question is which performance we have to put on the site for measurement. There is no performance measurement possible other than strength in the site. So this question has to be answered. Just simply putting RCPT or air permeability will not work, because there are many issues involved in that. The performance, in general way, we can always tell. Okay, there is no question. Okay, and RMC, regarding the RMC MA certified RMCs only should exist, then only we'll have the quality of the RMC in this country. Otherwise, RMC will not be a quality control material in this country. But RMC MA has got so much of data and points in their website, and if it is followed, there is no question about being RMC being bad at all. This I'll close. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now over to the other panelist who would like to take.
So can I take this?
Yes,
can I have my view?
Please, sir.
See, I think this. I don't have such experience. I can tell you, for an example, I did the Shiksha Sadhana building for Government of Karnataka in front of Janta Basar. 8.5 crore project. And the project was complete. It was the additional cost was only about 15 lakh rupees. National Building Institute of Fashion Technology, which you did in HSR layout, the change was less than 1%. So it depends upon how well you prepare your project and how well you control your design and the project management. I have very less experience of project cost increasing in any of my projects, including the Hebbal flyover, which I did. In 66 crore was the estimated cost. When it was finished, it was 3 crore, out of which 1.5 crore was paid because of additional shuttering mobilized. So I think it all depends upon how well you prepare your DPR and the estimate and how you do this. Well, there have been instances when the officers of the concerned department try to use all sorts of measures to enhance this billing, this everything. That depends upon how strong you are. And so I don't get many jobs. So only when there is a very complicated job, I get the government job for myself. And as far as we need a very small component sector in this business. So if you do your job well, I feel that you have enough satisfactory business in your domain.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Next, Dr. Jagdish or N. Prakash, who will go?
Dr. Jagdish is senior to me. Jagdish.
I was looking at some
in more the field. You talk more.
See, no. He started with humor, so I'm continuing with humor. No, having worked with any of the government organizations or anything, but the general question is corruption. I think corruption is something which is of a human nature. It is very wrong to say that it is only in this country. In my experience, it is all over, every other day. It's all over the world. Even people in Japan, which is supposed to be a very organized country, corruption is there. Everything, it's a human tendency to it. As it is up to us to see how we conduct ourselves and do it. You cannot tell somebody else to be not corrupt. So it is up to him. We have to imbibe in them. And as an organization, in order to make sure there is no corruption within the organization, you have to leading the exam. I think that's how it can be done. In my opinion, it is something that has to be brought up. It is unfortunate that this particular construction industry has got this reputation of being corrupt, but it is not necessary. I see corruption there. There are any number of books written about corruption in the medical profession. There is one gentleman called Atul Gawade who has only written corruption in the US, in how in the medical profession there is corruption. So I think corruption is something that is universal. It has started, if you were to read, corruption is there also. So I think we have to see that it is not there, and it is within us to see that it doesn't take place.
Hello.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Over to Jagdish, sir.
This morning I had a meeting with one of the major projects. There the client was asking to whom to give the project.
You
then we had a lot of discussion went on.
You didn't tell my name?
A lot of discussion went on. Then who is the minimum corruption in that particular department, other agency you can say. So it started with 30%, then 25, 30 went on coming down, and finally it was taken a decision. Whoever is least corrupt and not the least cost, is the least corrupt, we will select that department. So in that way, corruption is there everywhere and anywhere. How least the corruption is there you have to think of and manage to execute the project. Otherwise, almost it is impossible in the modern context. It is impossible to say that this department does not have corruption or that company does not have corruption like that. So go to the minimum. Go to the minimum and carry out with your work. That's all you can do. That's all you can say in the present today's context.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I request.
It is only calibrated corruption.
Yeah, sure, definitely.
Just other panelists to make their closing remarks. We have come to the end of the session. Nagendra Kumar, sir.
Yeah, I have not worked much with government agencies, so I am not in a position to answer that issue. But as a closing remark, since COVID-19 could extend up to December, let everyone improve in one or the other in this period, which is what I wanted people. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Dr. Aswath, one small clarification.
Yes, sir.
When I was talking about the infrastructure projects,
yes, sir,
I did not imply that there is corruption. I only was talking about the cost overrun. Why public sector projects invariably have cost overruns from anywhere from 15 to 150%. The reason for that is because it is built in. That is all that I was trying to say. I'm not saying that people are corrupt and therefore it is going up.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay, I'll take leave now if you don't mind because I have to go.
Thanks for your time and participation, sir.
Thank you, and good night to everybody.
Okay. Next, who is left now? I think all of you have spoken. We have our ACC treasurer, Mr. Badrinath Singri, on the participants list. Sir, would you like to say something? Badrinath, sir? You would like to add anything?
No.
For this session?
I just heard them all.
Okay. Thank you for your time and participation. Now, next 3 minutes, I can give to the participants. There are eminent participants in the list. If anybody would like to say 1 or 2 points, you can say and we can close the meeting. You can unmute your mic and you can talk.
Dr. Aswath, Gururaj here.
Yes, sir, please.
Good evening. Are you going to have 1 or 2 more sessions of this?
We are planning, sir.
Okay.
Different.
So then I got more points to discuss.
Yes, sir.
More elaborately.
Okay.
So probably at that time I can put in some questions.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
Sir, I request all the eminent engineers
Yes, sir.
to have their articles, if anything, they can give at least 2 articles. We will try to publish them wherever our media and other things we are going to set up, and we to do that. I have already requested Dr. Jagdish sir, and since this is a very good opportunity for me to request all the eminent engineers who are eminent, so for us, you are the gods, and please spare some time so that the civil engineers will be highlighted in the medias. That is what is, I wanted to tell. Yes, sir. Sir, yeah, I am very happy about N. Prakash sir. Your social media regarding the cracks and other things I am observing. That is very good move, sir. But in also, if you give, we will be very happy.
No, we'll give you our articles. You are saying we'll try to publish or you will publish?
Sir, what happens is we are engaging one media agency.
Alapa, you are saying we'll try to publish, You are the publisher. You publish or you will try to publish. There is a difference between trying to publish and
media,
publish.
sir, through we'll publish,
Okay.
sir. We'll publish in the media.
We have exclusive. We have an exclusive publications team working very hard to bring out all the publications.
I will send you.
Yeah, please. I request on behalf of BCCI, all of you to contribute articles or small videos, 2 minutes, 3 minutes videos are also fine. And if you have time, if you inform us, we will only come and take the interviews of all the eminent people in the days to come. And Umesh Rao, you would like to have a closing remark?
Dr. Aswath, I want to say something. This is Kannan.
Yes, sir. Please go ahead.
Sir, what I would like to make a point here, the SEC started in 85 and 35 years old organization, but we are having only 4,500 members so far. Whenever we are going for a membership drive, what SEC will give? This is the question people ask. So how we can improvise? What is the takeaway we can give for the younger generation as well as the professional people? Somebody can share so that that can be, important message for us to work on that to drive the membership.
Here.
Yes, sir.
Can I answer?
Kannan, what we should tell
Can I say here?
No, Kalgal is talking.
And then we'll go to Nagendra.
Okay. See, this has been the question for every organization for the past 2 or 3 decades as to what their members will ask, what do I get? So please involve people on a different scale. Tell them what is it that you can give to the association. See, today everybody is trying to get. This is not a trade organization that you give a membership fee. I'll give you 10 jalebis and 3 rasgullas next week. No. Now we give an opportunity for you to contribute to the society is what we have to tell Kannan. Not that we are going to say 1, 2, 3, 4 benefits you will get. You put so many rupees for each of them, so it is worth your membership fee. No, we don't want such members. What is it? What is the use of such members? This is a platform where you can contribute back to the society. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Kalgal.
Prakash here.
I think Nagendra sir would like to make a point.
Yeah, Nagendra, go ahead.
Here, I would like to have, in the list of 4,000 people who are only for such talks in he wants. Then we select 250 people, let us say, or 500 people who are really wanting to do. Like that way, if we segregate, you will the head to.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. AMP, you would like to say?
No, I just wanted to paraphrase what Kalgal said. Just as Kennedy said, ask not what the country can do for you, ask what you can do for the country. That's all. Ask not what ACC can do for you, ask what you can do for ACC. Telling that.
Okay. Thank you. And Umesh Rao has not made his final remarks. I think
let's understand when someone talks about what is the benefit of ACC, they come to people like Jagdish or Manmohan Kalgal or Basavaraj. Otherwise, would not have been possible. It's not a benefit of Gururaj for that. Itself is a big benefit that they are getting something from some points and points from the industry. That's the first part of it. Second is YouTubes and other things, and really put it what Srikant Chanal was talking about, as what Prakash has been doing. Maybe tips, maybe for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, half an hour videos, we can put it on YouTube. We can do that if any is taken. And I don't think. Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, over, sir.
Okay, thank you. And I think it is time. We have taken a little extra time also because of these questions. Thank all eminent consultants for making free and involved in this discussion. I hope the participants got some takeaway from this discussion. And Dr. Bharti Ganesh mentioned how when the construction industry is expected to surge back to normalcy. I hope all of us, let us hope it will come back to normalcy as well. And we had in the participants list the vice presidents of ACCE, Satish Raipure is there. Thank you very much, sir, for joining in. And I thank all the participants once again for their participation. And we will have one more series of this consultants meet with different types of questions. Maybe next time we will be more structured. We'll get the questions well in advance, and we can have a structured discussion. This is just a starting point and first attempt in this direction. I thank once again all of you on behalf of ACC, ICI, and INSTEC and BIT. Thank you very much, sir, and see you. Good night. Please take care of yourselves.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night.
Thank you, Dr.
Good night. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Thank you.
Good night, everybody.
Thank you, Satish.
Bye-bye,
Thank you, Ramesh, sir. Thank you for joining.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night, sir. Good night.